You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. And of course, you have seen the title. But before we dive into this, which is my soapbox, let me tell y'all what's coming down the pipe regarding this weekend's Rabbit Hole production. And I've stumbled across, I'm in Barnes and Noble the other day, and I'm just, killing time. I'm looking around, and I stumbled across this book written by this black female. And the reason why the book actually caught my attention is because in this particular Barnes and Noble, they had a table set up for Black History Month. So I'm thinking to myself, let me go see what they got on this table. What does Barnes and Noble consider good literature for Black History Month? As I'm walking to the table, I'm thinking I'm going to see some Du Bois. I'm going to most certainly see something about Martin Luther King. And, I'm thinking maybe they may even include some Malcolm in there, NAACP, the basic safe stuff. With the exclusion, of course, of Malcolm. But, that's what I'm thinking I'm going to look at when I get to this table. But what caught my eyes when I looked at the table and started going through the literature that they had sitting there was this particular book. And the reason why I picked it up, I actually thumbed through it, and I actually toyed with buying it, but I wound up not buying it. I said I can look this up online, which I did. And it's a book written by a black woman who tells a very interesting story about this black female who was in the military, who I think she went to Afghanistan, did a couple of tours in Afghanistan. When she gets home, she runs into this particular guy who also had been in the military. But he was homeless. And to make a very long story short, they eventually started dating each other. And the reason why I found this to be most interesting and actually a bit comical, this college-educated military veteran, highfalutin and feminine, comes home from a tour in Afghanistan, working in corporate America, and she bumps into a fellow military who happened to be homeless, and they start dating, and she winds up getting pregnant by the guy. Now, people may think, what's so interesting about that story? Well, the interesting thing about the story is that the guy is white. Guy is white. And I'm thinking, while I'm sitting there reading, and I know some of the workers at Barnes & Noble probably thought, that dude crazy. Because as I'm sitting there thumbing through the book, reading it, and I'm laughing to myself. I'm laughing out loud. I'm chuckling because I'm thinking to myself, is this ain't struggle love. But I'm going to deal with that. And I'm going to let y'all see the book. You can go get it for yourself if you want to check it out. I'm going to share that book. We're going to deal with this whole notion in the whole, you know what it is, second nature like breathing. If you want this weekend's rabbit hole production, dealing with the piece of literature, which anthropologists will tell you that if you want to understand a culture, then the thing that you do, you either listen to their music or you read their literature, the literature that they produce. This will give you a window into the mindset of that culture. So I find it to be most interesting. But you know what it is, second nature like breathing. You want that, send me an email. I'll share the book with you. You can go get it for yourself if you want to. I'm going to give my commentary on it in the whole. Send me an email. I'll send you the link. And y'all know this here is my pet peeve. This is my pet peeve, man. I can sit down and discuss black preachers for hours. For hours. So y'all know this is one of my pet peeves. This is my soapbox. So I'm gonna climb up on my soapbox. This is the reason why when the Negroes, come to me with the insult, what they think is an insult, that I repeat myself, it doesn't bother me. And I tell the Negroes this. I tell them, that don't bother me. That's not an insult to me. It's a compliment. It's actually a compliment, man. I mean, you're trying to insult me with an ad hominem that I consider to be a compliment. But yet and still, this is my soapbox, man. I can talk about these guys all day, every day. And the reason why I can deal with this black pastor, and don't worry, we're going to get to, the black church being used as a center to distribute the vaccine for COVID-19, which we know we should have seen this coming. We should have seen this coming. I mean, they tried the little rap. Governor Cuomo comes up with the little rap skit. They've used handpicked celebrities, but now we know they're gonna go to the big guns, which is that black pastor. But we're gonna deal with that in a minute. But let me say this: the reason why I constantly reference this black pastor. If you are one who's giving social commentary on the black community or the condition of black people, and you do not understand the role that the black church and the black pastor has played in the current plight of the Afro-American Negro, then you don't know what you're talking about. If you cannot include him into your analysis, and it's not just him, because he's a part of what I call the axis of evil in the black community. You have that white liberal, you have the black pastor, which also includes the black church, and since the black woman and the black pastor is connected at the hip, that includes her. And then you have the Democratic Party. That's the access of evil that has the black community in the predicament that is in. The Democratic Party writes the policies. The black pastor is used to promote and to get the Negroes to agree with the policies. And we already know the hidden one behind, just like in The Wizard of Oz, when they went to go talk to the wizard and they all scared, Dorothy's scared, all of them are afraid because, oh my God, there's lightning, there's thunder, this wizard. And then that little dog went and pulled back that curtain and they seen that it was an old man who was actually the wizard. See, that's the white liberal. The white liberal is the one that's controlling everything behind the scenes. The white liberal runs all of your civic organizations, all of your civil rights organizations. They control all of your so-called leaders. So when you find a Negro talking about the plight of black people and they cannot include this access of evil, the white liberal, the black pastor slash church slash black woman, and the Democratic Party, they don't know what they're talking about. They just don't. I mean, I don't know what else y'all want me to tell y'all. And this is the reason why, again, I keep trying to help black men. I keep trying to help y'all, man. I keep trying to inform y'all. This is the reason why y'all look dumb. Y'all really look dumb, man. Y'all just don't understand how dumb y'all look. When you Negroes sit on social media, be it YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, no matter what the social media site is, when you find Negroes fussing and arguing with other black men over what they say about black women, over giving their opinion, and these black men are so disturbed, they're so upset, they're fussing and they're arguing with them. But these Negroes can never, and I keep telling y'all this, I'm going to keep saying it until y'all understand it. This is why y'all look dumb. If you're going to come to my channel, or if you're going to make a video about me and talk about the things that I've said about black women, but you can't make a video about this black preacher and what he does to black women. At some point, if you're logical and you have eyes and you have half a brain, at some point you're going to have to say, man, you look dumb. And the thing that's so interesting about the black preacher is that the shine is in all of your communities. He's right there in your hood. He's right there in your, now he may not live there, because we all know that your girlfriend or your wife or your mother or your grandmother or your aunts or your sisters have purchased him a house in the suburbs. We know that. So he may not actually live in your community, but his church is there. And how he gets back and forth from that home in the suburbs that your mother, grandmother, sister, aunts, girlfriend have paid for is the automobile that he drives. The Bentley that he's driving is also paid for by said women. The suits that he wears. The condoms that he uses. Well, he don't use condoms, because we know that. Well, let me lay that alone, because, you know, I'm not in the hole. But let me scratch, matter of fact, just scratch that from the record. But you get my point. Everything about this black pastor is financed by your black woman. I keep asking the question to these brothers, who pimps this black woman worse than this black preacher? He is the biggest manipulator of black women on the planet. Everybody pales in comparison to him. So when you find these shine bones making videos complaining about what men say about black women, but they never address the biggest manipulator in the community of black women, you have to at some point just laugh at them and be like, yeah, y'all really look dumb. Y'all really look dumb, man. And once you understand that axis of evil, and once you connect those dots and gain an understanding of why the black race is in the condition that it's in, and it's because of that Democratic Party, it's because of the white liberal, it's because of the black pastor slash black church slash black woman. Once you understand all of that, and you want to say you want to clean the black community up, but you never address this axis of evil, nigga, I can't take you serious. I can't. I mean, I simply cannot take you serious. That's just like a person saying, I want to lose weight, but they never work out. How serious do you want me to take you about your weight loss? And I understand that diet is what 75, maybe 75%, maybe 80% of weight loss is actually nutrition. I get that. But you still got to hit the gym. You still got to run. You still got to walk. You still have to do some physical exercise. So if you telling me, man, I want to lose 50 pounds, but you never work out, how serious do you want me to take you? And you got all these hotels, pro-black, black first, back to Africa's, but they never address that white liberal. They never address that black pastor. You know damn well they're not going to address that black woman. I mean, come on. Shit. Stop. Matter of fact, let me take a sip of this. Because to even suggest that, why I must be crazy. That's why you can't take them serious. You can't take them serious. And when we look at the crimes, the cultural crimes, since slavery, this black preacher has been doing this for years. And again, I got to repeat it because obviously y'all not getting it. If you understand your history, you know that when the slaves came here to America, they weren't Christians. They couldn't read. And when the slave master finally decided that, hell, allowing them to be Christians actually make better slaves out of them is when he allowed them to be introduced to Christianity. But even on the slave plantation, the slaves could not gather. They couldn't meet unless there was a white person sitting amongst them. For obvious reasons, man. You don't want them planning and plotting to kill the master, kill his family. So he had to have a white person in the midst. But they got tired of sitting in those religious services. I don't blame them. The choir's giving a fucking concert. One selection lasts for half an hour. And we ain't even taking an offering yet. You know they're going to be 3 offerings. And this buffoon hasn't even got him in taking his text yet. And it's going on 1 o'clock. It's going on 1 o'clock and the choir is only on its first selection. We know they got 3 more selections that's going to last a half an hour. Hey, that's an hour and a half, man, before this buffoon gets up and preaches for 45 minutes. And he's going to take them an offering after that. So that white man said, man, I'm tired of sitting here, man. I ain't sitting in these services all day long. Fuck that, man. Kick off at 1 o'clock, man. Fuck this shit. So the slave master said, I got to find me somebody who can report back to me what these slaves are thinking, what that preacher is preaching. I have to be able to trust him, to rely on him, and to know that he's going to be faithful to me. And that slave master looked amongst those slaves and he found that black pastor. He found that black preacher. And of course, in the wise words of the most honorable El Hajj Malik El Shabazz Malcolm X, he said he gave him a top hat and a cane and propped that Negro up as a leader. And he became the historical snitch, the historical Benedict Arnold, sellout, Judas, Brutus. That's that black preacher. All throughout our history, he has been doing this. It's nothing new. And that's the reason why when they wanted to push this COVID-19 vaccine, and they realized that that black community there's some rumblings in the black community, boss. Well, what's the rumblings? Those black folks ain't trusting that vaccine, man. Well, that's all right. We know what we can do. This is the Democratic Party saying this. Oh, we know what play we can run. Send some big booty strippers at them. Let's make a commercial and put some big booty strippers in there and talk about the vaccine. Let's get some celebrity. Let's get Beyonce and Jay-Z, them coons. Let's get them to push the vaccine. They still find out what boss they shit. There's still rumblings in the black community, man. They're not trusting that vaccine. Well, okay, we got to bring out the big guns then. We got to bring out the play that Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger, that brilliant white woman. We got to bring the Margaret Sanger play out now. And what is the Margaret Sanger play? Margaret Sanger said, listen, as a white woman, I can't go to black people talking about birth control. As a white woman, I can't go to black people and talk about selective breeding because the radicals in the black community are going to accuse me of not only being a racist, but they're going to accuse me of wanting to exterminate black people. So as a white woman, I can't do that. We can't, as white people, we can't go to them. Now we talking about what? Margaret Sanger started her work. She created the Negro Project in what, 1939? Don't correct me on that. Don't quote me on that. I believe it was in 1939 when she came up with that Negro Project. Preaching eugenics. She was a eugenist, as am I. But Margaret Sanger said, listen, as a white woman, if I go preaching selective breeding and birth control to these Negroes, they're going to accuse, the radicals in that community are going to accuse me of being a racist and saying that I want to exterminate Negroes. So how we get this done? We got to find a preacher. That's what Margaret Sanger said. We got to find a black preacher. And not just a black preacher, not just any black preacher. We have to find one who has been educated in the social sciences. And if we find one who's been educated in the social sciences and we indoctrinate that Negro, he's going to in turn indoctrinate who? Black women, who's going to in turn do what? Indoctrinate the community. That's how we get this done. And this is the reason why if you go in any black community across this nation, I don't care where you go, West Coast, Midwest, down South, East Coast, it matters not where you go. Any black community that you go in, you're going to find what? Well, I mean, outside of, dead churches on every damn corner and the Arab store, you're going to find all of that. But you're also going to find Planned Parenthood. You're going to find Planned Parenthood, which evolved out of what? Margaret Sanger's Negro Project. And when she said the way we get this promoted amongst black people is to find that black preacher. We got to get him. He is the key. And that's the play that they're running with this vaccine. And that's the reason why they're pushing now to have these black churches be centers where they are giving out this vaccine, getting these black pastors to encourage the women in their congregations to indoctrinate their children and indoctrinate those men. Because we know you niggas gonna follow them. Stop. Stop. Y'all talk that crap that y'all ain't listening, but we know y'all gonna be sniffing behind them. And don't let her have no big butt and put on a tight skirt. We know what you Negroes gonna be doing. They know y'all. Y'all talk that stuff to me, but I know a lot of y'all sniffing behind these. Well, I mean, let me take another sip of this, people. Y'all keep got me thinking I'm down in this hole, man. And that's the reason why they're using the black church. They're not changing the formation. They're not changing the snap count. They're running it out of the same formation, the same snap count. And man, because they know it's going to work. They know it's going to work. This is how we're going to get this vaccine into these Negroes. Is by doing the same thing that politicians do to black pastors every election cycle. It was so comical, man. I done videos on this, man. It was actually it was so funny when Donald Trump ran the first time when he was meeting with all those black preachers. I mean, it was just comical, man. Them Negroes lined up. Well, they are rats, and he was like the Pied Piper, and he's blowing his flute, and those buck dancing, bow jangling, stepping fetching minstrels, they follow right behind, right in line. And there were members in the Republican Party who was telling him, man, you ain't got to do that, man. You don't need those black preachers. You don't need them. They slide them an envelope full of money, and whatever they want, that black pastor is on board. Yeah, I agree with you, boss. And it's the same thing the Democratic Party has been doing for years. Slide that black pastor a few dollars, and he's on board, whatever it is. That's the reason why I call them the axis of evil. The Democratic Party writes the policies, /liberal, writes those policies, and they go to who? The black preacher. Because as Margaret Sanger understood, the one who has the ears of black people is who? That black pastor. The black pastor. And the reason why he has the ears of black people is because he is supported by black women. And if he has the ears of your woman, he has the ears of your community. I don't care what you Negroes say. That's why I believe if I can sneak up on some of you Negroes, I believe some of y'all still go to church on Sunday. I believe some of y'all still go to church. She got y'all sitting up in that church paying your 10%. She done already told you Negroes on social media, you better not say nothing bad about my pastor. This is the reason why y'all don't mention him. Y'all don't say nothing about him. And when I ask y'all to address him, y'all laugh like it's a joke. It's not a joke. If you're going to make videos complaining about what black men say about black women, then it only makes sense that you would also make videos about the one who is engaging in actions that is detrimental to black women, which is who? The black pastor. And again, when I ask y'all this, it's a rhetorical question. I'm being funny when I ask y'all because I know y'all don't have the stones. Y'all don't have the stones, man, to be able to call that preacher out. Why? Because to call him out is to call her out. And we already know that if she cops an attitude with you, you're going to be disturbed. You're going to have a problem. Baby, what's wrong? I'm sorry. I'm going to take that video down. I'm going to mark it to private. If she cops an attitude about anything that you say about that bojangling, buck dancing, stepping fetching, minstrel ass black preacher. This is the reason why they will spend all of their time arguing and complaining about what black men say in YouTube videos about black women. Because they're so concerned about her image. They're so concerned about how she is talked about. They're so concerned about how she is treated. So much so that not one time, not once, can these pro-black, back to Africa, red, black, and green, black first, minstrel Negroes mention the biggest manipulator, the biggest thief, the biggest exploiter, abuser of black women in the black community. And that's that black pastor. And because of the role that he plays as being a member of the axis of evil is the reason why they're going to him to push this vaccine to you Negroes. It's the Margaret Sanger play. But let me get off of that. If you want that book with written by the black female, I'm going to give my commentary on it. I'm going to share the book with you. I'm going to give you my commentary. If you want that Rabbit Hole production, you know what it is, Second Nature Like Breathing. Get me email, I'll get you the link. Because at the end of the day,